everyone. Welcome to For His Namesake, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Behind the Hymns. And we're so glad that we've seen several of you watching, and you seem to be enjoying getting to know a little bit more about the hymns and their writers and what inspired them to write it in the first place. Excuse me. The first song we're going to talk about today, and then we'll sing a little bit of, is called I Have Decided to Follow Jesus. Now, the lyrics were inspired by the last words of a 19th century Garo man, G-A-R-O, which is from the tribe in northeastern India. And his name was Noksang. I'll have my husband put all that in the description box. And he was from northeast India, who was martyred for his faith. The lyrics were made into a song by the Indian missionary named Sadhu Sundar Singh. Wow, that's a tongue twister. And using a traditional Indian folk tune by the name of Assam, which is also a place in India called Assam, India. Noksang and his wife and two sons were among the first converts in this particular village to accept Jesus and to be believing in Jesus through some Welsh missionaries. The village chief, however, was angered by their this new conversion, and he basically said to Noksang, "You either renounce your faith or you must die." Yeah. So, but of course, Noksang did not want to do that. He didn't want to renounce his faith. And he said instead, "I have decided to follow Jesus." I think this is a cute little story. And then the chief ordered execution of Noksang's sons, of his two sons. And right after his two sons were killed, Noksang continued to say, "Though none go with me, still I will follow." You know, those are the words in the hymn. Then the chief had Noksang's wife killed. Oh my goodness. And then just before his own death, Noksang said, "The cross before me, the world behind me, no turning back." And before being shot by arrows himself, then the chief was asking him, why would you die for some man, being Jesus, from a faraway land? Why would you do that? And, you know, then he told him about, you know, Jesus and all that entails. And then the chief of the village, he himself, after everybody was dead now, Noksang and his entire family had been martyred, basically, that's when he himself became a believer in Jesus, and he converted the entire village. I'm getting chills just telling you this now. Isn't that an awesome story? The entire village in northeastern India converted to Christianity, and to this day, I think that's talking about Nagaland, if I'm not mistaken. And I read somewhere that that is a predominantly Christian land. Yeah, I'll need to look into that some more, but I think that's what that's talking about, is that area, Nagaland. And we know somebody, well, we don't know anybody personally, but there is a subscriber who's been coming to our channel, and he is from Nagaland, and he has some really neat videos on his channel about, you know, the people there, and it's kind of exciting. But I did not know that they are predominantly Christians there, probably because of this story. Okay.
That's really neat.
Yeah. So I told Valentine, I said, "You're not going to get to know this wonderful story until the day that we record this. I'm going to keep it a secret because it's such a nice little story." And then I told her, "Now don't go and cheat." Valentine's not a cheater, but I was just telling her, don't go ahead of time and look at the, you know, I wanted her to hear this for the first time today. Okay, we'll go ahead and sing a few verses here.
The first.
I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. Yeah.
I've always loved that tune.
Yeah, it's a sweet song.
Okay. The next one is Sweet Hour of Prayer by William W. Walford. He was born in 1772 in England. Interesting enough, not much is known about him. What we kind of do know is that he was an English preacher, and the story goes that he is blind. Others think that he was not blind until an illness maybe made him look blind, or impaired vision. So, kind of a quiet man. We do know that he owned a store, maybe a trinket shop. Not an educated man either, according to one newspaper article. So he's just a regular preacher guy. And he also wrote poems on the side. And he had a friend named Thomas Salmon, or Salmon. He was a congressional minister, and one day he went to visit his friend, this blind preacher, Walford. And Walford, of course, being blind or impaired vision, he couldn't write down the lyrics to his new poem. He put everything in his head, including preaching. He knew many Bible portions by heart, it says. So that's really amazing. So Salmon wrote down the words as Walford was telling him this new poem. They wrote Sweet Hour of Prayer. 3 years later, this minister, Thomas Salmon, he went to America, and he went to the New York Observer newspaper and had them look it over. He wrote the backstory that I just told you, and it was published in the newspaper. And a composer, William Bradbury, he saw this hymn in the newspaper, and he wrote the tune that we now have today. And he published it in his own hymn book in 1861. So, that's the story behind Sweet Hour of Prayer. Okay.
Now, I don't know this one, I don't think, until we
forgot it.
sing it.
Okay. Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, that calls me from a world of care, and bids me at my Father's throne make all my wants and wishes known. In seasons of distress and grief, my soul has often found relief, and oft escaped the tempter snare by thy return, sweet hour of prayer. Now we sing kind of fast. The composer, Bradbury, who wrote the tune, he preferred it a lot slower, but for time's sake, hopefully you guys can understand.
So in church, they would sing it a lot slower?
Probably so, although I've heard country artists, it's quite a well-known country hymn. You'll hear that a lot on albums to kind of speed up the tempo just a little bit. But either way, it's a beautiful hymn about prayer.
It is. And we had a request actually for a song called "I'll Fly Away," a spiritual song, and of course that's found in the hymnals as well. But and Valentine, bless her heart, she did all the note taking on it and everything. And because we kind of take turns on requests, I did the request last week, so then it was going to be her turn to do the research on who, someone had requested to do "I'll Fly Away." And my memory is just so,
apparently
it's
mine
just
is
not
too.
all there. And I thought, oh wow, okay, go with it, take the notes on that. And so she did, and she was all ready to go. And then she looked it up on our channel, and she said, "Mommy, we've already done this one in Behind the Hymns." And I said, "Really? I don't remember that at all."
Embarrassing.
So we apologize for that. So that's why we're not doing it now, because we've already done it. So we'll have my husband put it in the description box so you can quickly find it again. So we apologize that we're not doing it now, because we've already done behind the hymns with "I'll Fly Away."
And if my dad forgets to put in the description box, we do have a playlist. For those of you who are wondering, we do have a playlist behind the hymns, so you can find all the videos that we've done on this series.
Yes, exactly.
And of course, all these songs that we sing, they will also be in the description box in their full recorded form that we did.
Yeah, and be sure to keep giving us those requests. I mean, we could always go down and check all our songs that we did too, but it's kind of exciting to see what kind of songs you all would like to know more about. So be sure to keep sending in those requests. Okay?
So be sure to
Okay.
like, subscribe, click the notification bell. Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye-bye.